Namaste.
Namaste.
Can you all please switch off on your videos, please?
You want to switch off or on?
Or switch on, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better that if I can see the face of the participants. Namaste, Rameshji. Okay. I would like to start on time. So, Chitra, Jayashri, Jayantimala, can you please switch on your video? Yeah. Yes, I feel good if I can see the faces, instead of the blank screen. Namaste, Anirban. Okay, in the next minute, I will start with the first question that I have received. Okay, I think it's time and we should not waste any more minute. So I'm so happy. Namaste and welcome to all of you. And we will be going through this journey together in the light of Mother and Sri Aurobindo's teachings, which is always for us, a guiding light and helps us. So today I will take up with the first question. The question was asked regarding the intuitive mind and how to make sure that we are able to receive intuition, how we can make our minds intuitive. So as usual, I will start with Mother's quotation. Actually, this was the very question that was asked by a sadhak, and we are all so blessed that almost all the questions that trouble humanity or our curiosity or our aspirations, they are all answered by the Mother and Sri Aurobindo in their writings. So the question that was asked to a sadhak was, Mother, how can the faculty of intuition be developed? So first I will read a few lines and then I will explain in my own words also. So Mother says, there are different kinds of intuition and we carry these capacities within us. They are always active to some extent, but we don't notice them because we don't pay enough attention to what is going on in us. You see, the first message that the Mother gives us, that we all have the potentiality to develop intuition, but we do not pay attention to it. So what happens? Why don't we pay attention? So she says that behind the emotions, deep within the being, in a consciousness seated somewhere near the level of the solar plexus, there is a sort of prescience, a kind of capacity for foresight, but not in the form of ideas. You see, we want that, clearly the idea should be there, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, but it doesn't come like that. So it comes rather in the form of feelings, almost a perception of sensations. So what are sensations? Sensations are something that we receive through our five senses. So some movement of the senses that we can feel over here gives us the intuition of what we are doing. So she says, for instance, when one is going to decide to do something, there is sometimes a kind of uneasiness or inner refusal. And usually if one listens to this deeper indication, one realizes that it was justified. So I think most of us have felt many a times, that there is some sort of a gut feeling, or there is some sort of uneasiness, or there is something that is we are unsure about. But we leave it at that. Now she says that in other cases there is something that urges, indicates, insists. She says, I'm not speaking of impulses. You understand? of all the movements which come from the vital, and much lower still, indications which are behind the feeling, which come from the affective part of the being. There too one can receive a fairly sure indication of the thing to be done. Further, Bhavata says, these are forms of intuition or of a higher instinct which can be cultivated by observation and also by studying the results. So the first thing necessary is to be quiet, to listen to these indications, and we have to cultivate it by observation. You see, initially we can get a mixture. She says that further, I'm not going to read the whole, I'll give you the reference, you can read it. So we have to sift through various indications that we get. So observation is necessary, and another thing is that we also need to study the result. By this she means that if we think that this is what we understood, we have to see whether what we understood was correct or not. So it is a very systematic study, a systematic process. It's actually a part of sadhana to develop this faculty in us, because intuition is pure truth, and with our mind and our emotions and other impulses that act through us, mostly we are not able to understand the truth. So we can develop that. So Mother says, naturally it must be done very sincerely, objectively, without prejudice. So there's a lot of things that go as a preparation. See, not to be prejudiced, not to have any preconceived ideas or our stereotyping of things. And there are so many layers in our mind, our subconscious, and that forms a sort of a veil, that is a sort of a, what you say, curtain that does not allow us to see the truth. So I think there is a lot of pre-preparation regarding purification of our mind, purification of the feelings, purification of the impulses, that goes as a basic preparation before we can embark on the journey to become intuitive. So I would say that the best preparation that we can do is to become or to develop non-duality, not to dwell in duality of good, bad, like, dislike, favorable, unfavorable, joy, sorrow. So when you are above these dualities, you are able to be a little indifferent, you step back, and you are prepared to see the truth as it is. So once we do all that preparation, that we just are a spectator, a witness, when we develop that, then perhaps whatever the truth that comes down will be clearly visible to us. So a very nice tip that the mother gives us is, one must do it as if one were looking at what is happening from outside oneself in someone else. Now see, if there is a noise from our neighborhood, or a child is crying or something, we do want to know about it, but we aren't as affected by the noise or the sound of a child crying or any other thing as if it is our own. We are just curious, we just want to look at it, with a sort of detachment. So over here mother says that when you are able to see, observe as if it is somebody else's, not your own, so the personal factor at that moment is removed. So when that personal factor is removed, you can see the truth as it is. So it is one form of intuition, and perhaps the first one that usually manifests. So there are other forms also. She says, one is much more difficult to observe, because for those who are accustomed to think, to act by reason, not by impulse but by reason, to reflect before doing anything, there is an extremely swift process from the cause to effect in the half-conscious thought, which prevents you from seeing the line. So you see, you have to develop that sort of a attitude, the inner attitude that will take you very fast. That is what she says. Now you have the impression of an intuition, but it is not an intuition. It is an extremely rapid subconscious reasoning which takes up the problem and goes straight to the conclusion. So over here, Mother is warning us that something from our subconscious will also rise. So you have to be very careful, go very slowly, observe, be indifferent, detached, then you can develop that. Now this is a very long letter, and there are many steps and many other ideas given. So I will give you the reference, and you can then go and read it in the Mother's volume. This is from volume number 9. You can see from the physical book also, or from the PDF. The page is 357, and the date of the letter is 23rd July 1958. So 23rd July 1958, about intuition, Mother has written from page 357 to a few more pages. So I hope this has given some idea. The person who asked this question is satisfied that we have introduced this, but as I said, it needs a lot of practice, and a kind of discipline is necessary. And for these kind of things, what we must do is to not to just wish it, oh, I must have intuition, I must develop intuition. But you know, like when you go to the gym or anything, you are quite seriously bent on doing the exercise. Suppose you want to reduce weight, or you want to do anything, you would like to do it regularly to see the result. So in other references what I've read, Mother says that if you are you want to do something, choose a spot and a time regularly each day, and that spot, that time becomes your sort of a PowerPoint, which helps you in developing what you want to develop, understand what you want to understand, and have that kind of discipline. Any thoughts you want to share or ask before I go to the next question? Okay. Now another question that was asked was practical application of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Now this is a very interesting question. Practical application. So first we have to sum up, understand what is exactly Sri Aurobindo's yoga. I mean, we know it, but still, first we should know what yoga we have started, or what yoga Sri Aurobindo and the Mother puts before us. So here again I will read from Sri Aurobindo himself, because he has written about his teaching and his method of practice. So he says, he uses in third person, he says, Sri Aurobindo's teaching and method of practice. This is the one where he is not trying, it is not his object to develop any one religion, or to amalgamate the older religions, or to found any new religion, or any of these things. The one aim of this yoga is an inner self-development, by which each one knows, who follows it, can in time discover the one self in all and evolve a higher consciousness than the mental, a spiritual and supramental consciousness which will transform and divinize human nature. So what we are asked to do in this yoga is to work for our inner self-development, to grow, because we are evolutionary beings and we have come from the other forms to this human form, and there are still grades above us that we can manifest, we can evolve into. So a constant inner self-development is the practice that we can do. In this, the book where Sri Aurobindo gives us more ideas about the teaching and method of practice, he says we can begin with the samatha of the Gita. Bhagavad Gita talks about samatha, equality. So the first practical application of Sri Aurobindo's teachings we can do is to develop equality, samatha. We don't get shaken, we don't react, we don't get upset, but we face it. So samatha is the first thing to be cultivated, and that applies to whatever goes on within us as well as to any outer situation that we may face. Now this samatha cannot be fully developed in a short period of time. We need practice for that, and the practice starts with becoming aware of our actions, our reactions. And this requires, as the mother says, that every day you can work for your progress and perfection. A very interesting line that woke me up a few years ago was, mother has written somewhere, you are not born here to be happy. Maybe somebody must have asked that I'm very unhappy and I'm not. She says we are not born on earth over here to be happy. We are here to progress. So she has kept a lot of emphasis on progress, and that progress includes progress of all the parts of being, like physical progress. We develop more endurance, strength, stamina, develop more energy. We progress in knowledge. We progress by more and more controlling our impulses. So a constant inner self-development means all these things to apply in daily life, because as we know that this instrument, this body, this mind, this life energy, these are all instruments of the divine consciousness that is within us. So these instruments, the outer instruments, have to be perfected. We have to constantly work for the perfection of all the parts of our being. So that alone will make us a little better. In another answer, she says that try to be better than yesterday. It's not the exact quote, but if we want to really sincerely apply the teachings, we have to sit with ourselves every day and find out what has happened during the day, and where and in which moment you were not able to keep up the samatha, keep up the equality. Where did your anger overtake you, or your anxiety, or your stress, or your fear, or any other weaknesses? There are so many. We have so many different impulses and so many different emotions and feelings that put us, sometimes we are on the upper side feeling good, enthusiastic energy, want to laugh and dance and jump. At the other time, we are just down. So we keep on observing and seeing that where did the scale go wrong, where I could not maintain samatha, where I could not maintain peace, where I could not maintain the detachment that I was supposed to. So all these practices every day, when you sit with yourself, you do a sort of inner audit, and then you said, okay, you don't blame yourself, you don't feel guilty, you don't feel sad, but you just take it as a task that today I was not able to do this much, tomorrow it will be better. So just as when you learn to drive a car, your first few days will be very clumsy, you may not drive well, you may stop it in between, it will not be smooth and steady. But then gradually with practice, you will be able to drive well. So similarly, when you keep on, understanding, revising, by observing yourself, you will be able to apply the teachings very well. Another way, or along with this, we have understood the 12 powers of the mother. Mother symbol has those 12 powers which all of us know about. And we have to read about them, what she has read about sincerity, goodness, progress, power, humility, courage, etc. And the quotations that the mother has given us about the 12 powers can help us to see how well we are able to develop that. And when she was asked what is the first virtue that is needed to be on the path, and that, she says, was sincerity. So in one of the quotations she has said that sincerity is the safeguard, it is the power for transformation as well. The more sincere you are, the more rapid you will go in this journey, and it will help to transform yourself. And the question asked was that how can, so we must cultivate the habit of reading something from the Mother and Sri Aurobindo every day, apply it, and see that how we are able to work on our limitations. So to overcome our ignorance means we need more knowledge to understand how to apply Sri Aurobindo's teachings. We have to read, and to overcome any other part like physical laziness, we have to just keep on working on different parts and make them better and better each day. So this is the practical application of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Any input from anybody? Want to say something? This can be a discussion. I didn't want it to be a talk. So whatever anyone wants to say, feel free.
I just wanted to know one thing.
Yes.
Is there a good time for this yoga? Like, is it better to do it in the morning, or is it okay to do throughout the day? Is there any specific time when it is most effective?
No. In fact, Sri Aurobindo says that all life is yoga. Every second, every moment, you can do this yoga. I'll explain that. Yoga actually basically means, it's a Sanskrit word, to unite. So when you unite your consciousness with the divine. Now how can you unite? You can do by mantra jap, you can do it, There are various ways in which you can unite. So when you read, you are uniting through your thoughts, your minds, Or when you are singing, you are uniting with your feelings. When you sing a bhajan or you chant a mantra, right? And Mother says that through work, you are uniting, karma yoga, like through work. So each and every moment, each and every activity, each and every event, task can be an occasion to do this yoga. This yoga is actually a 24/7 job. But in the beginning, we may lose connection, rather, we may not remember. But that is okay, that happens. So suppose you are starting some work, you can just say a one-line prayer that, "Oh Lord, or dear Mother, sweet Mother, be with me." But while working, you may forget it, that's okay. But when the work is finished, you say, "Thank you. By your grace, I was able to do this work." So there is no particular time for it. What you need is more and more sincerity to do it, and more self. This is completely an inner work which can be done by our own self. Because in this yoga especially, Mother and Sri Aurobindo's words help. But they say that the Guru is seated within. So if you are sincere, if you pay attention, your own inner self, your true self, your soul will guide you. Initially you would not get a very clear instruction, but feelings are things that you can understand. You will feel more peaceful, your agitation will go away, any of the other weaknesses like sadness will go away, your reactions will get reduced. So you would know that you are going on in this path. So observation, analysis and correction, you have to go on doing that every day. Correct it. Yes, anybody else would like to say something?
So on this topic, which Kinjal has mentioned, like when do we do this yoga? So another, apart from what Falguni has mentioned, one of the first things even to understand the yoga is we have to be open to the mother and children. In all yogas, we do our part, but actually the yoga, it is not within our part to do the yoga. Okay, we can only open ourselves and do our work, like the basic things that we have to do. But the actual yoga is done by the mother. So the first thing we have to do is aspire and open to the mother, and that what Falguni is mentioning, we do it 24/7, even there's not even a single moment that is spared outside this. So it is not like any. Most yogas are, if you see the people who are really like tapasvis, for them it is that is life, right? So here also, all life is yoga. There's no difference between our regular life and outer life. It's just that we will be living life from an inner point of view towards outside, not from a surface point of view. That's the first shift we have to make along with.
Yeah.
I think I misunderstood it with the pranayama and the yogasanas that we do, but
Yes,
this is more like
exactly. I understood that. Yeah. When you
it's more like
say
a
your
routine
question.
meditation that we have to learn and understand. Now I
Thank you, Anirban. It was a very good contribution. Anyone else would like to say something? I can go to the next question. So, I just said, all activities, whatever role you are playing, at home you are a mother and father, that is also, like part of your sadhana. You are a teacher or an engineer or every aspect of life can be included, because you do it with a kind of perfection that you want and an offering to the divine. So this task of this yoga, which is transformation of the nature, it is not an easy task. So as Anirban said, that we have to rely on the divine's power, divine's grace, and we do our part. And Mother says that you pray, you ask, you aspire, and you will definitely get the answer to your prayers, and the grace will help you to go ahead in it. So we do our part, and the divine then pours grace and does the rest. So this is how each one of us go in this journey, and we do need get the guidance and the help that we require. Okay, anyone else wants to say something? Okay, now let me come to another question. Somebody has asked how to do meditation. So there can be different outer method, but I will focus over here on the inner method. There's a small booklet by Pavitra. He has written it very well. He's a close disciple of Mother Sri Aurobindo. So you can sit in a straight posture, or wherever, on the chair or floor, doesn't matter. So the first thing is that you have to learn to watch the thoughts and see that you do not get carried away by the thoughts that come to your mind. Sri Aurobindo says that you do not produce any thoughts. Thoughts come from outside, from all the different environment from outside, and it comes over here. So he says that the first method consists in watching the thoughts as they swarm about in the mind. Your mind is like a public place across which thoughts move in and out. So observe their play without identifying yourself with any of them. Somebody just said that like a traffic police, the traffic policeman is surrounded by so many vehicles coming and going. But the person does not get carried away or identify with any of the vehicles that are passing. So gradually when we learn to distance ourselves, become a spectator, a witness, then we can see that this thought is coming and going. And you will discover after some time that there is a mental self in us that stands apart like a silent witness. You will experience that with practice. So this witness consciousness will help you to observe the thoughts. Another method is to create a void in the mind, but this is more difficult. So we need not do that. Third thing is to be in a state of complete silence and try to be still and silent. So whatever practice we do, basically it aims to develop that witness consciousness. And gradually with practice, one can feel the peace. Sometimes Mother says that you can start before meditation with a prayer for peace. Invoke peace. So peace is a great power, and she says that keep yourself open and receptive to the peace that can pour into you. And another thing, all these things go parallel. Offer to the divine, to the supreme, all events and circumstances, big or humble, of your daily life. Now this has been very helpful in the beginning, because the first thing that we learn in this journey is that the closest person or the closest one in our life is not any human being, not any relative, not any person in the family or outside, but the divine. Divine is our friend, our father, our mother, everything. So start by sharing. So one can do that every day by sharing everything, whatever has happened. So he said, just offer all that happens in your daily life without any distinction, good or bad, pleasant and unpleasant. If you are sincere in your offering, in your surrender, your life will change utterly. You will discover that an unseen hand, the Shakti, guides you and has always guided you throughout the years. A new joy will rise for you every morning. Any contribution by anyone regarding meditation? Want to share anything? So as I said, by sitting quietly and observing thought helps. Even pranayam also helps. So a very important thing over here, I remember, meditation is not only a technique or a process, it is a state of consciousness. So many a times, we confuse it by the kriya. So all the kriyas or the methods, they are helpful. They are very much essential, but they are not meditation. Meditation, when occurs, when you are truly in the state of meditation, it alters your state of consciousness. Now, right now, it may be just a word for you. What do we mean by altering the consciousness? But you would know, just give you a very crude example, that you are coming from a very hot, sunny afternoon, and when you enter your room, which has air condition, and you suddenly, all your senses, your body, that feels a change, a coolness. So similarly, when meditation is perfected, a sort of change, a shift in the consciousness appears, where there are no more, conflicting thoughts in the mind, no chatter going on inside. no upheavals of mood or feelings and a rush of impulses to do this. Everything is calm and quiet like an ocean. So till then you have to keep on the practice which helps you in maintaining that calm. So that is about meditation. I asked but I did not pause. Anyone wants to contribute anything on meditation? Okay. Another question that I will take is how to realize the inner being. Now, you see, every little word matters over here. How many of you can just say yes or no on the chat box, how many of you have gone through the writings of Sri Aurobindo and Mother about the planes and parts of the being? Have you read about the planes and parts of the being? You are new, Kinjal, I know, so I don't expect you to answer, but those who have been reading Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Kalpana, Ketki? Yes. Yes, have you read about the planes and parts of the being? Okay, good. Now, let me just take a brief introduction to that. There are several layers in the consciousness, parts and planes, right? So, I'll just talk about three main parts first. Because over here I'm going to dwell a little bit on what the person has asked about inner being. So there are three main parts. Each human being has an outer nature, an inner nature and the inmost nature. So I think when the person was asking about the inner being, it was about the inmost, that is the soul. So the outer nature is made up of the physical, the vital and the mental nature. Physical means the body, vital means the life force, the pranic force, and mental is mind, thought. So let us say that these are the three parts of the outer nature. Now, it is everything in you that is visible on the surface for others. These three parts are visible because they are on the surface to others. People can see our physical body. People can also, when they talk to us, they know our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideologies, what we are thinking, and also vital. Now let me ask one important question over here. Can you feel somebody's vital being? If yes, how? Vital being, vital life force is composed of emotions, impulses. Yes, Ketki, how do you understand the vital being of the other person? Huh?
Through emotions, let's say somebody is angry or if somebody is happy.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes we say that we are not having good vibe about this person. We use this word.
Yes.
So mostly this vibe that we feel, the vibe is peaceful, aggressive, sad. It's all about this vital. Of course, it is vital physical also and vital mental also. I mean, the parts are not watertight compartments. On the upper side, vital is connected with emotions and mind. On the lower side with the physical and impulses. So this is the thing that people see us. When we talk about people, we say, oh, that person, is very kind. That person is a very confused person. This person is that. This person is that. So this is how these three parts in which people know us. Even regarding ideas, mental nature, that also people come to know about. That this person has this strong beliefs about this religion or this political ideology or etc. etc. So It is everything in you that is visible on the surface for others. Through your outer nature, you deal with your surroundings. Clear? You deal with your surroundings. All that you see, hear, taste, smell, touch comes to you through the outer nature. All your actions, your interactions and communications with others belong to it. Right? Now, let us go a little behind. Next comes the inner nature. It is everything in you that is going on behind the scene, that is not visible to others and often not even to yourself. Here also there are three main parts. There is an inner mental, inner vital and inner physical. I'll give you by example to make it a little more clear. So, for example, a noble character typically comes from special qualities in the inner vital. What is a noble character? A noble character is one which can forgive, which is more tolerant, which do not fight about petty things. There is a lot of compassion, there is a lot of self-giving, service. This is a noble character. Okay, so this is all about the inner parts, the inner mental, the inner vital, the nobility part that comes. Then there is our interest, our hobbies, like some people love gardening, some people love a lot of pet animals, some like painting, some like music. This is all the inner part of us. So many a times when we come across a very new thing, we also feel, oh, I didn't know that I would like this, or I didn't know that I would not like this. So sometimes we are also not aware of our inner layer. Outer is quite visible to us and others also. Now, the thing that we would like to focus more in integral yoga is the innermost, the core. So that core, that is also known, Mother says, the central being. And this central being has two parts, the self and the soul. The self with a capital S is called Atman, is immortal and remains the same through all our lives. You can contact it just above the head, Atman, Jivatman, it's known as. So with each birth, we get connected to this immortal part, which is here. And this is the one which people, when they work about there's a practice of Kundalini awakening and all that. So this is the last this thing. Then there is a psychic which you can find behind the heart. The mother mentions in one of her talks that each human being is unique and that each one has a role to fulfill. The uniqueness is in our psychic being and it can express itself in the world through some special qualities of our inner and outer nature. These qualities may change or be perfected from birth to birth, but our essence remains always the same. So the unique identity that we have, that is about our psychic being. And this is the purpose that Mother says, that to awaken this psychic being and to let the psychic being govern our life. That is the true mission of human life and human birth. So by gradually going deeper and deeper, we try to get the light of that truth within us, because that truth can guide us. So the psychic being is the link between your outer nature, mind, vital and physical, and your highest self or Atman. I am not going deeper into this, but just to introduce that outer, inner and inmost are the three layers. Any questions or anything anyone wants to add on into this?
Yeah, Falguni, I wanted to ask something. I read something about shadows, shadows of ourselves. Now, where does that fit in here? The negative aspect, I think it means, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Do you have a quotation or something where you have read where I can get the complete sense of what you are saying?
No, I just read, I just read it in some other context, not in the context of integral yoga. So I was just, the shadows which are there, I think there was some couple of days workshop also that was held by Nama on that. So it must have some link with this integral yoga.
Yeah, no, I usually take help from others and Sri Aurobindo's writing to say anything on, I would not just venture to speak about them. But in general, it is the dark parts in us, because we are not yet fully divine. We are not fully illumined. We are not fully conscious. So perhaps the person is talking about that because it's only the dark parts, opaque. What gives shadow? That which is opaque. One which is completely luminous, transparent, full of light, do not have shadows. So maybe it refers to the subconscious and the inconscient part of our being. Because we have the inconscient, the subconscious, half conscious, and all the upper levels that follows.
Okay.
Yeah. So over here, the focus, good you asked in a way, because the mother says that always focus on the light. Always focus on being cheerful. Because that part, the soul in us is, it is full of sunshine. This yoga follows the sunlit path. What does the sunlit path mean? Sunlit path means that you follow the light. So you can light, the word the light, shadow, these are symbolical. Light means knowledge in the mind. Light may also mean happiness and cheerfulness in the heart. So by light, she says that to be always on the happier side. And whatever happens, remain cheerful, because that will constantly give you strength. There are so many other things that may go in our life which may not be pleasant, that may not agree to us. But instead of focusing on that, so it is a very important aspect of any yogic discipline that whatever you focus on becomes bigger. Whatever you focus on becomes bigger. You focus on your issues, problems, they become bigger. You focus on the positive side of it, you invite more positive things. So it's everything, it's like a magnet. You attract that which you inhabit and which you concentrate upon. You focus on goodness, you focus upon kindness, you focus upon anything, and you will see that all around you, things pertaining to all these things will start coming into your life. You focus on health, you focus on energy, you focus, because focusing gathers your energy into one spot. And when that concentration, that focus is there, that thing becomes powerful. There is a very well-known example of the Upanishads. It is written as Keet Brahmar Nyay. The insect, the silkworm or whatever. When it is put into a condition, it just focuses on. I'm not able to explain it correctly, but it focused on the flight, to come out of the prison, and then that focus transforms it into from that insect. It develops that wings and it flies out. So concentrate on Brahman. That's what the Upanishad says. You concentrate on the Brahman and you will become Brahman. Concentrate on Sachidanand and you will become Sachidanand. So whatever you focus on, you can become. That is the power of thought, that is the power of the consciousness. So even if you read about these things, just you can read it, know about, but never focus on that, because in our own strength, we can never deal with our nature, with our own strength. So we have to call in the light, we have to call in the power, we have to call in the grace to help us. Okay. So today I am not taking any more questions. I have few questions, but it may require a little more discussion. So anything anyone wants to add? So mostly in this session, I would like participants to submit their questions in advance, so that I am prepared with what Mother and Sri Aurobindo has to say on it, because that's the only thing that is worth understanding and contemplating upon. And all I do is to explain them in psychological and simple terms. That's what I like to do. I love the way they have explained about human personality, our spiritual journey, and that is the main takeaway from this yoga, is that you can do it anytime, anywhere. You just need to be aware of what you are doing. Be mindful of what you are doing. And whenever anything goes wrong, just focus on yourself. What I could have done better. So the master key that this yoga gives us is an inner change and inner transformation. You don't focus on how I can change others, how can others be, nice to me or this thing. You try to shift something within yourself, which remains always peaceful, cheerful, and in a state of, surrender to the divine. Okay, then we end it over here, and I think the first Saturday in April is on 5th. We will again meet. Meanwhile, you can send me questions through email or WhatsApp number. All right. Namaste.